Throughout the campaign you will encounter a wide variety of demons that come with a set of unique personalities and combat styles that force you to constantly adapt your strategy, making it especially interesting to rank them. Since a demon's threat level can vary depending on where and how it appears, as well as the number of demons present in a given encounter, to keep things fair we will be judging each monster from a more complete and general perspective, rather than purely on their campaign impact. Therefore, this tier list is based on the monster's overall strengths, while still acknowledging the role they play in shaping your journey through the game, since it's an important aspect of the game experience. The Possessed are the first enemies you encounter. As long as you're even slightly cautious, they pose little threat. They are slow, are easily taken down, and have only a basic melee attack. The only thing to watch out for is their sudden forward swipe when you get too close, which can catch you off guard, and if it does, the damage is actually decent. If you do get hit by one though, it's entirely your own fault. In the early game, when you have the shotgun, you can shoot their legs to put them in a staggered state to perform a glory kill and gain some health pickups. Despite their weakness, Possessed keep appearing in large numbers throughout the campaign, even when you are basically overpowered. This is a direct sign that the only reason it happens is to help you upgrade your mods, some of which would be nearly impossible without a horde of weak enemies to farm kills from. The Unwilling function almost identically and just replace them in health-based missions. The Possessed Engineer is a kamikaze-style unit that charges at you and explodes on impact. It's both slow and fragile, making it very easy to deal with before it even gets close. Performing a glory kill will always result in the same animation. The Slayer will kick it away, since it will still explode upon landing. This is the only part that requires caution. If there isn't much space behind the Engineer when you perform the glory kill, the explosion can damage you. However, this issue doesn't apply when using the chainsaw, which makes it a safe way to eliminate them without risk. Imps are the most common enemies you will encounter from start to finish. What makes them truly unique is their dynamic behavior and adaptability. They are extremely agile, using the terrain to their advantage by jumping, climbing and repositioning constantly to pressure you from unexpected angles. The most standard attack of the imps is the fireball, which they use in a variety of ways. They can throw while running, while jumping, while climbing, or from a stationary position. More dangerously, they have a charged fireball attack that partially tracks your movement, making it surprisingly easy to get hit. They can even angle their shots in ways that make it difficult to find cover, so learning their patterns and staying on the move constantly is quite crucial for your survival. They often appear in groups and their agility allows them to swarm the arena and control space quickly. Fortunately, their low health is their main weakness, allowing you to eliminate them quickly if you stay precise with your shots. Possessed soldiers are another type of monster you will encounter quite often. They are sturdier than imps but a bit slower overall. If you're not careful, they can deal a surprising amount of damage with their plasma projectiles, which become especially difficult to dodge when multiple soldiers are firing at once. Their more unique attack, the charged plasma shot, is very deceptive. Even though it looks like a normal projectile that you can easily dodge, it actually behaves differently, as it doesn't explode on impact but only after traveling a short distance. It's an unexpected mechanic that can trick you multiple times until you're used to it. While Possessed soldiers may not be among the most threatening enemies in the game, they are definitely not to be underestimated, as they can drain your health unexpectedly quickly. Possessed security can be the first real challenge for unaware players. Their shield keeps them well protected, so the best tactic is to avoid it entirely and attack from behind whenever possible. The shield can absorb way too much damage, and when it's broken they tend to recover it almost instantly. Those brief moments when the shield is down are your only chances to take them out quickly. But besides the shield, Possessed security can deal an outrageous amount of damage if close. They can drop your health to zero before you even realize it, so keeping your distance is absolutely crucial for survival. They are quite a rare enemy that doesn't show up often, and when they do it, you have the arsenal to exploit their weakness. Stun bomb, chainsaw, flag grenade and holograms are some easy ways to get rid of them. I'm honestly not sure where the hell Razer fits in the Doom universe. It kind of looks like it got lost on the way to another game. This demon behaves like it skipped the basic combat intelligence class altogether. Honestly, it acts like it has permanent brain damage. Its main weapon is a laser beam with seemingly unlimited range that tries to lock onto your initial position, not where you actually are when it fires. So if you've moved away, it's still blasting on your old spot. The Razer is sturdy but slow, and its lack of any real fighting experience shows. If it hits you, it will hurt, but the only time it's truly dangerous is when it swings its weapon, a surprisingly tricky attack to dodge when in the middle of a fight. Hell Knights are basically the first heavy monsters you will face. They are fast, aggressive, and charge at you relentlessly with powerful melee attacks, which ironically happen to be their weakest point. They don't have any ranged attacks, so if you find yourself in open space and keep your distance, you can pretty much outrun them and shoot them down. However, their stomping attack makes up for that weakness. It lets them cover ground quickly and can catch you off guard by dodging your shots and closing in for the hit. Hell Knights are also surprisingly agile, capable of jumping and climbing over obstacles, so there's really nowhere to hide from one. Once a Hell Knight is on the battlefield, it will hunt you down with single-minded determination. It never backs off, and one thing is certain, either you or the Hell Knight will survive. Hard-hitting weapons are its main weakness, as a solid blow will partially stun it. Once you upgrade the super shotgun, dealing with them becomes laughably easy. However, if you lose focus, they can still dish out heavy damage and corner you to your death. The Summoner is probably one of the most annoying enemies in the game. Thanks to its constant teleporting, it makes it difficult to track and bring him down. While teleporting in spots you currently haven't noticed, it is very easy to get hit by his fire spells, which even penetrate obstacles, so taking some damage is almost guaranteed. True to its name, the Summoner calls in reinforcements, usually demons that can quickly overwhelm you. Unless you enjoy fighting alongside a handful of Hell Knights, the Summoner should always be your top priority. Luckily, it doesn't have much health, so once you get a clear shot, bringing it down quickly is your best bet. A successful lock-on burst from the rocket launcher is usually the easiest way to take it down, while the siege mode of the Gauss cannon is also highly effective. If you have enough fuel, don't hesitate, use it to get rid of him quickly. The Revenant was once one of the most threatening monsters in the Doom series, fast, deadly, and equipped with homing missiles that made it a pure savage. But in Doom 2016 it doesn't quite live up to that fearsome reputation. These Revenants aren't especially aggressive and tend to stay idle for several seconds. Their main threat comes from firing barrages of missiles that are no longer homing like they used to be. Even when those missiles hit, the damage often doesn't feel as punching as you would expect. Overall, Revenants are one of the more forgiving heavy monsters you will face. You can afford to be a bit careless around them without facing instant death. Lost Souls have been notoriously annoying in previous Doom titles, and they keep that reputation here. They are easy to kill and don't appear very often, which is a small mercy. If you don't take them down, they will eventually explode on their own if they land a successful attack. Even though their explosion can deal noticeable damage, as long as you can withstand it, this suicidal attack significantly reduces their overall threat level. They are dangerous if ignored, but far from the annoying nightmare they were in older Doom games. Open areas are the worst places to face Lost Souls since you won't have any cover to hide behind. And if you're dealing with platforming sections, they can absolutely ruin your day. The Cacodemon along with Lost Souls is one of the only flying demons in the game. As it floats in midair, it has plenty of room to maneuver, which can sometimes make it tricky to hit with weapons like the rocket launcher. However, it moves quite slowly, and its large size makes up for that. Cacodemons tend to move toward the player while firing toxic bile that blurs your vision if it hits. When the Cacodemon attacks, it usually moves forward slightly, covering more ground than you might expect, so suddenly it's a lot closer than it looks. The Cacodemon's goal is to get close enough for melee attacks. This bite is absolutely devastating, dealing 200 points of damage, the highest damage of any demon attack in the game. Unlike in previous Doom titles, the Pinky in Doom 2016 feels almost like a brand new introduction. Instead of being just a mid-shield, the Pinky has evolved and has become one of the most annoying and persistent monsters in the game. It charges at you with extreme speed, tracking your movements to land a direct hit that's often hard to dodge, especially when there are no obstacles nearby to take cover. What truly makes the Pinky dangerous though, it's the armor on the front body, which prevents it from being stunned by your weapons. This means that the Pinky's charge never stops, it keeps coming until it connects and deals damage. The armor transforms the Pinky from a situational threat into a permanent one until it's dead. While the Pinky can be relatively easy to handle once you learn its patterns and use the right weapons, in the chaos of the battle when your attention is scattered, it's much harder to keep control. When a Pinky is on the battlefield, you need to stay on your toes. One wrong move and it will have you in its sights. The stun bomb is perhaps the most reliable way to deal with a Pinky. It can instantly stop its charge, giving you the perfect opening to strike from behind. The chainsaw is another effective option, though fuel is not always available to rely on regularly. Holograms can also work amazingly fine, lurking Pinkies into charging straight into a wall. Once they're stunned, finish them off quickly. The Pinky was the monster that troubled me the most when I first played Doom, mainly because I didn't realize anything about its armor, and I believe it keeps doing it with anyone unaware of it. For that alone, perhaps it deserves the recognition. The Spectre is essentially the same monster as the Pinky, but with a few notable differences. It has more health and is partially transparent, but it lacks any form of armor, arguably the Pinky's most valuable asset. Without that armor, the Spectre can be easily shot down even from the front, which is usually the easiest part to hit. Additionally, without armor, its charge can be interrupted, making it far less relentless than the Pinky. The trade-off of armor for partial invisibility and higher health still isn't enough to tip the scales. Spectres are generally much easier to deal with than Pinkies. The Mancubus is one of the most terrifying monsters in the game, boasting a brutal arsenal of attacks. From a distance, it fires two powerful projectiles, and if you try to take advantage of its slow speed by maneuvering around it, getting too close will trigger its devastating flamethrower, an attack that's almost guaranteed to hit. It also has a wave blast attack that damages everything around it, so keeping your distance is often the safer choice. On top of its heavy firepower, the Mancubus has high health and partial armor covering key parts of its body, making it particularly tough to bring down. However, if you keep your distance, it's an easy target due to its very slow speed and ease of dodging its projectiles. Whenever you see purple effects when attacking it, it means you're hitting its armor, which will only make it longer to bring down. Instead, aim for its head or its exposed belly. If facing a regular Mancubus is displeasing, wait until you meet the CyberMancubus. It's essentially the same monster but meaner, tougher and far more dangerous. Its body is covered with even more armor and it has significantly higher health, turning every encounter into an unpleasant experience. Offensively, the CyberMancubus is more aggressive, firing a barrage of 4 projectiles instead of 2. It can also spread pools of toxic sludge across the ground. Touching them or getting hit by the blast will rapidly drain your health, adding yet another hazard to watch for during the fight. As the game progresses, CyberMancubus become increasingly common, and their massive health pool combined with their constant pressure makes them one of the most frustrating enemies to deal with. If it appears alongside other enemies, it can be one of the hardest opponents to deal with, and if left alive, it will relentlessly use its arsenal to overwhelm you. A combination of flag grenades and rockets can often bring it down quickly. The Baron of Hell is perhaps the ultimate monster in the game. It shares many traits with the Hell Knight, but with one major upgrade: it also wields powerful ranged attacks. On top of that, it's far more durable, its melee strikes are deadlier, and like the Hell Knight, it will relentlessly hunt the Slayer without pause. If a Baron of Hell enters the battlefield, you must stay on high alert. Its high speed and agility allow it to easily catch up and track you down no matter where you are. Barons become especially dangerous in cramped areas, where you can lose sight of them and have no idea from which direction they will suddenly appear, taking you by surprise. They are relentless pursuers, constantly closing the distance by using their stomp to launch towards you, and if that misses, they seamlessly switch to firing plasma balls. The Barons have multiple animations for their plasma attacks, and the tricky part is that sometimes they appear idle, only to suddenly unleash a plasma ball without warning. This unpredictability can catch you off guard and cost you some precious health if not your life. Fortunately, Barons aren't heavily armored like the Mancubus, which is their greatest weakness. They can often be staggered by powerful weapons such as the Gauss Cannon or the Super Shotgun. An upgraded Super Shotgun is particularly devastating. Its blast can interrupt their attacks before they even get the chance to retaliate. Barons don't appear often, and when they do, it's usually only a few at a time, often after the rest of the battlefield is clear. This makes it easier to focus entirely on them. But don't underestimate them for a second. Their aggression and raw power mean they only need one small opening to turn the fight in their favor and ruin your day. The CyberDemon is the first boss you'll face, and the fight is split into 2 stages, both of which are surprisingly manageable once you know the pattern. In the first stage, the strategy is simple: keep circling around him, dodging his attacks while dishing out your own damage. The only real threat is his locked on laser beam, but once you learn how to avoid it, the rest of the fight becomes straightforward. The second stage follows the same core concept, but the CyberDemon turns up the aggression. He will attempt to restrict your movement by summoning walls around the arena and unleashing his deadly Fireblade attack. However, the BFG can be used to interrupt this move to keep your attacks going. Stick to this pattern, stay mobile, and you will bring the CyberDemon down quickly, with minimal trouble. The Guardian is the second boss, and much like the CyberDemon, it's a two-stage fight. Both stages are fairly easy overall, though the first can be the most annoying. This is because the Guardian is protected by a shield almost constantly, meaning the pace of the battle depends heavily on moments when it lowers its guard. Its attacks are easy to dodge, but one particular attack, the Charge Strike, is worth watching closely. If you manage to hit the Guardian before this attack fully charges, you will stun it and create a massive opening for follow-up damage. The second stage plays almost the same, except the shield is gone and the second Guardian joins the fight. Even then, the battle remains straightforward, their attacks are still predictable and easy to avoid. Damaging either one will drain the shared health bar, so you can focus on whichever target is most convenient. The Spider Mastermind is the third and final boss of the game, and it's a far trickier opponent than the ones before it. Armed with a devastating arsenal of attacks, it forces you to constantly adapt, and learning all its patterns is no easy task, while taking a few hits along the way is almost inevitable. As the fight progresses and you drain its health, the Spider Mastermind becomes even more dangerous, adding new techniques to its arsenal. This makes it harder to rely on a single strategy, keeping you on the edge from start to finish. The arena offers some BFG ammo, and smart use of it can dramatically shorten the fight. Still, the variety of attacks makes it a serious threat, especially on Nightmare difficulty, where every hit can be punishing. Facing the Spider Mastermind here is less of a fight and more of a relentless test of endurance and adaptability. Obviously, everyone has their own unique playstyle, so certain monsters may trouble some players more than others. I've tried to evaluate these demons from a broader, more general perspective rather than through the lens of a highly skilled player who might breeze through every encounter. So, my final thoughts. Zombies pose no real threat, they are essentially there to help evolve and warm up. The Hellraiser seems to exist in his own world, but he can still catch you off guard with painful attacks, perhaps deserving a tier higher in some cases. The Revenant lacks the ferocity in advanced arsenal, while Lost Souls would be a troublesome menace if not for their tendency to explode on contact. Guardians are easy to dodge their attacks and can be brought down effectively. Possessed soldiers are steady threats, slowly chipping away at your health, while Possessed security can punish you heavy if you drop your guard. Spectres, though lacking armor, can still prove deadly if ignored for too long. The CyberDemon is all about pattern mastery. Fail to learn it and you will be in for a long fight. Imps suffer only from low health, otherwise they command the battlefield. Hell Knights are relentless, never let them dictate the fight. Cacodemons are deceptively dangerous, and if they get too close, the consequences are brutal. Mancubi are slow but heavily armored and punishing, making them a stubborn obstacle. Barons will keep you on the edge from start to finish, don't rest until they're down for good. The Summoner can be extremely dangerous and avoiding all damage is nearly impossible. Pinky will give you a run for your money, master its counters. CyberMancubus are heavily armored and deadly with their poison attacks. Finally, the Spider Mastermind demands patience and adaptability. Memorize its patterns, survive its relentless arsenal, and you will eventually claim victory.